Hi everyone. Okay, I've been meaning to do this for a while and I've been putting it off, and in the meantime I've been eating my props, but today we're going to decorate some cookies with wafer paper. So I'm going to show you how to decorate cookies with wafer paper using piping gel and corn syrup. It's very easy, and I'm using store-bought cookies, so that's something that I want to let you know, is that you don't have to make the cookies because sometimes you just don't have time. And it's better to use like a sugar cookie that you make just because you make them, but you don't have to. So I'm going to show you how to use a bunch of store-bought cookies that I found that are good for this purpose. And I will demonstrate how to put the piping gel and everything on it. I'll take you over here now and let's get started. So to do this, I went to the store and I looked for a bunch of cookies that could be used to decorate without me having to do any icing or baking or anything. So I got some macarons from the bakery. I got some of these little wafer cookies. Now these are actually wafer, just like wafer paper. Okay, it's made from the same thing, just kind of a different process. And I'm sure that everyone recognizes these cookies. They're delicious. Okay, you can get those in different flavors. I also got these are just a store brand chocolate covered cookie with a flat back. They're also delicious. And as you can see, there are a lot that are missing. And I need to do this demo today because I'm going to eat all the props, like I said. These are a national brand of chocolate-covered chocolate sandwich cookies. And I'm not saying the brand name because I don't want to pay them a royalty, but you can get any of these, in the cookie section or the bakery department of your local grocery store. And you don't have to bake the cookies. You can get these and then decorate them yourselves. So let's get started. And I am using piping gel. I have piping gel that I bought at the store, in the cake decorating section, and I'm going to take some of this with a clean spatula and put this in a container so that I don't have to dip the paintbrush into the jar. Because that way you avoid contaminating it with chocolate from the cookies and crumbs and that kind of stuff. And then you can just throw out what you don't use. All right, and then I have a bottle of corn syrup, which it just is it's a bottle, so that doesn't need to worry. I don't need to worry about contaminating that because it's just in a bottle. Okay, so basically what you want to do is cut some shapes out of the wafer paper to match the shape of the cookies. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and I'll kind of narrate what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So first you want to take some floral wafer paper. I use the floral wafer paper for this kind of thing just because that's what I'm using, but you can use other things. You could use little animal pictures or whatever. You want to try to get the scale of the flowers to fit on whatever you're putting it on. So the smaller the cookies, the smaller the flowers. It just kind of works out that way so you can see the patterns. And I'm going to use a wafer cookie first, and all you have to do is just cut the wafer paper with regular scissors to the size of the cookie. And once it's ready to be, attached to it, just use some piping gel or corn syrup. Now for this one, I put the piping gel on the cookie, and I realized afterwards that the wafer part of the cookie was kind of peeling away. So you might want to just use corn syrup. It's a little thicker, and just make sure that you get, whatever edible glue you're using, put that on the floral wafer paper, put it on the cookie, and then turn it upside down and let it dry against a flat surface so that the paper doesn't curl away. And on this one, I put it just on the paper to see if it would stick, and it really isn't sticking that well. So, sometimes if you put it on both the cookie and the paper, that works best, but just remember to dry it upside down. Make sure that you're really attaching the edges like that. Now for this one, I'm going to put it on a chocolate covered cookie that has a flat back, and you want to put the wafer paper on the flat part of the cookie. And for this, you can just put piping gel or corn syrup directly onto the cookie. I put it on both the cookie and the wafer paper, just to make sure that it was really going to stick. Again, dry it upside down so that it's against the thing. Now, chocolate covered sandwich cookies are generally about 2 inches across. So I'm using a 2-inch paper cutter, and I'm choosing a little, picture of the flower that's going to fit on there. And it's going to be a little bit big if you don't do it yourself, and you can just trim that off with the scissors. Not hard, dry it upside down against the flat surface, and you're all set. Now for this, I'm using a butterfly cutter. And these are just regular paper punches. I'm cutting some out. When you do butterflies, the edible butterflies that are made from wafer paper are usually printed on one side. All you do is put a little bit of piping gel or corn syrup on the very middle body part and just stick it to the cookie, that's all. Corn syrup is going to be stronger than piping gel. Piping gel is corn syrup with cornstarch and some water in it. It's a little more flexible. And for this, I'm using some piping gel to make a double-sided butterfly, because with the paper punch, you have a symmetrical butterfly, and you can do, two against each other to have them be printed on both sides. But you don't really need to do that because the wafer paper doesn't show on the side that's attached to the cookie. But sometimes if you want to bring the wings up, you will see the bottom of the back of the wing, and you want to do that. So here's that. Now for this, I think I used some corn syrup, but you can see that it's double-sided because I just put two together. And I attach them together with the piping gel. The corn syrup is going to hold tighter, like it's a harder fit than the piping gel, but they all work. And let me see. Oh, I'm going to actually, I think I did another wafer paper. Now for this one, I did some corn syrup instead of the piping gel. And I think that this is a better option if you're doing the wafer cookies, just because the corn syrup has less water and it won't affect the wafer on the cookie so much. So even if you don't make the cookies yourself, you can still decorate them. It just has to have a flat back. It has to have something for the wafer paper to attach to, and you just need to use corn syrup or piping gel. It's not hard. And if you want to read an article about it, like I said, go on over to my blog. I'll put the link in the description, and I will talk to you guys later.